Heavens to Murgatroyd, you're up here in the Mask Fan Attic once again. Good evening and welcome. You know, I always carry this flashlight. You notice I always have a flashlight when I come up here. I have to because sometimes it gets so dark that without it I couldn't see a foot in front of my face. That's how bad it is. It would be so dark I couldn't. Okay, anyway, do you remember the television program The X-Files, Mask Lovers? Sure you do. With, you know, the FBI agents Scully and Mulder, played by Gillian Anderson and David Duchovny. You remember that? Well, in 1998 they made the first of the X-Files motion pictures, which was called either The X-Files or X-Files Movie, sometimes also known as The X-Files Fight the Future. And at that time, Don Post Studios came out with a great mask right here called, logically enough, The X-Files Alien. And they've only called him X-Files Alien. He never had a specific name any more specific than that, because in the movie he didn't have a name any more specific than that. So he's just X-Files Alien. Now, I want to mention that on some of these masks, the tags, the Don Post Studio tags, say copyright 1992, but that's only because they were using some tags that had been printed a few years earlier. The mask is not from 1992. Trust me on this one, the mask did not come along until 1998. It was in production in the 1998 and 1999 seasons, and that's pretty much it. That was the end of the deal for the X-Files Alien. And as you can see, this is just a straight up production copy. It kind of beautifully painted, I think. Very nicely done, with a nice rub out effect and a nice well, very nice airbrushing job, and everything just looks cool on this guy when you consider that this is the El Cheapo version, which only sold for around $30 at the time. Today you would probably pay more than that because it's kind of, well, it's a rare collectible now, right? Yeah, see, you think so. Now, there were actually 3 versions of this mask offered. The standard version, right here, which, as I have divulged through my previous utterances, is simply a straight-up production copy of the standard issue Don Post X-Files Alien. Now, in addition to that, there was also, in the neighborhood of $80 retail, there was a version called the custom version, and that was the same sculpture, but it was a little bit bigger, had a little bit more neck on it, a little bit more to it, and whereas the standard edition here has eyes that are simply sculpted in and painted black, and then there's sort of a sideways pupil in there cut out for the wearer to see through. Can you see that? Almost like a goat pupil or some animals. It's got a sort of oval-shaped cutout pupil hole in the eyes. But the $80 custom version had plastic eye lenses, smoked plastic actually glued on there for a little bit more deluxe look. But other than that, it was pretty much the same. And then even beyond that, there was the super deluxe version that I believe was only ever just called Alien with shoulders, or with chest and shoulders, I think they called it, or with neck and shoulders, which is the really deluxe version, which is very rare and very hard to find these days. But there's one here. Let me see if I can pick it up without herniating something. I've got it on a 4,000-pound stand. This is the deluxe head and shoulders version, and no, I don't mean that's the brand of shampoo that he uses. He doesn't use shampoo. Why would he? He doesn't have a hair. You see, no, not that kind of head and shoulders. He is literally a head and shoulders, and what a beautiful thing this is. Don't know how clearly you can see all of it here, but this particular copy you see before you, next to me up here in the attic, sweltering. I know, I'll get you out of here, I promise. It's very warm up here. Did I mention that? The Mask Fan Attic, where the air is always hot, but the masks are always cool. Did you like that? No, he didn't care for it. He wasn't that impressed. Anyway, this particular copy was Don Post's personal copy that used to be displayed in his office at the time of this mask, which was a long time ago now. And let's give you a close look. Beautifully painted, and I have not done anything to this. I have not retouched the paint or anything like that. This is directly how it came from Post. Now, I don't know how many they made of this ultra deluxe full head and shoulders and chest and neck and all that. I don't know how many they made, but they don't seem to have been very abundant, very plentiful, because nobody seems to have one, and people like this version, obviously, because it's very deluxe, but it's hard to find. So you may find one on eBay or someplace like that, but other than that, I don't know where you might find one today. So just look around for it. All it was ever called was X-Files Alien. And I think it is to the studio's credit that they did such a super nice paint job on their little sell-through version that's almost as nice as on their complete deluxe collector version. And as an interesting little side note about this character, one of these characters in the X-Files movie, 1998, X-Files Fight the Future. In the movie, one of these creatures was played by none other than Tom Woodruff Jr. And if you don't know the name Tom Woodruff Jr., well, you've still seen him in a lot of movies if you watch monster movies, because he's kind of a monster player extraordinaire. He's been in a lot of monster suits. He's played gorillas and aliens, and he's been in the some of the Alien and Predator sequels and the Aliens versus Predators movies. He has played various other creatures. He was also the original Pumpkinhead in 1988, and before that even, he was the Gill Man, or if you prefer, Creature from the Black Lagoon, in the 1987 feature, The Monster Squad. So Tom Woodruff Jr. has quite a history of amazing and impressive monster character playing. In terms of guys who wore rubber monster suits in the movies, you really can't beat Tom Woodruff Jr. because if you did beat him, he would just charge you with assault. But anyway, that's our mask for this week. The X-Files Alien from Don Post Studios, 1988 and 1999. Join us here again next week in the Masked Fan Attic, where hopefully this poor guy will have been at least given, you know, a nice cool drink and a fan, because he's complaining about the heat.